For me, the first time I experienced racism was probably when I was about 5 years old. We had just moved from Chicago, my family and I. My dad had died when I was 3, so my mom had to relocate our family to Auburn, Alabama. And so that was during the 60s. I was born in 64, so that was during the 60s time frame when there was a lot of civil unrest and Dr. King's time and the marches that were going on, 60 miles down the road. And I remember vividly one morning at 3 o'clock, but my uncle had been shot 3 times by the KKK. And so when that knock came on the door at 3 o'clock in the morning, everybody jumped up. I remember my mom running to the door. I remember my grandmother and my grandfather. And I can just remember that the police officer was just so nonchalant, just so uncaring, just like, your son's not coming home tonight and you can come down tomorrow to view the body. And it's like, I just remember my grandmother falling on the floor. I can see my mom, I can still see her like she was just screaming. And my grandfather was just, he didn't know what to do. He knew he couldn't fight a system that was already against him and the race of people that were trying to fight it in the first place. So he felt helpless. And I just remember thinking to myself at 5, this is a scary world that we're living in. I just remember being fearful, just living in fear most of my life, But I also remember my mom, like shortly after she kind of gained her composure, she said, this is the reason why you never hate people for the color of their skin. You only love. I mean it, and I mean it, and I've seen enough racism that I want it to stop. You only love. I mean that, and it was like drilled in our hearts and our souls and our spirit. And she was true to her word. She taught us to love regardless.